if you remember me, Brett, but
I don't remember that much, Glenn.
all right, okay.
I do want to say we always kept Glenn's address in Nova Scotia handy in case we needed to cross the international border. I met this gentleman when he was president of Benedict before I met Kevin. But Kevin and I were kindred spirits. We criticized each other right openly, as well as everybody else. And one of the things that people don't know, because it was a secret, is we produced the Palmetto Post, Nate Abraham Sr.'s newspaper, for 6 years. And Nate was more interested in the big grocery store ads. We got to write the thing, so we were putting out the black newspaper, and Wendy Breaker and I stayed up every Tuesday night for 6 years, because we didn't get the copy from the ads from Nathaniel until 8. But it had a column in there called the Darktown Strutter. It was a gossip column. And nobody knew who the Darktown Strutter was. And I would bet money that he offended damn near everybody in this room at one time or another, including politicians that may also be in this room or have served in the 1980s. No names mentioned, Brother Robert. And I will be brief as I've been pointing. There are no amens up here. But I have to mention that my wife took it really badly, heartily and sadly, at Kevin's passing. We were all very close. My first thought, damn, he made it. Because we've been talking about legacy, but I'm 10 years older than Kevin. I started the Majestic School to teach people what they didn't learn in school growing up here. And Kevin is working to do this multicultural, intergenerational thing right on the edge of white land and black land. And Kevin had all this faith in young people. So I want to point out to Brother Clapper that the promises that Kevin made will be kept by the young people who we are going to keep reminding them of Kevin's legacy, the work that he did. It will live on. And there are a couple of other things to say that I really do think need to be said. I'll be quick. One thing that just stands out in my mind that I'll never get rid of. I burned a Confederate flag and was arrested in 1969. Kevin always wanted to burn the Confederate flag. It was kind of a rite of passage. I can't even remember what decade it was, but McKinley Washington was the first black slave agent, and I remember when he was there. We are in front of the State House on the sidewalk, and the cops are arguing, whose sidewalk is that? And the Bureau of Protective Services says, that's ours. And the state says, no, that's ours. And the city police say, no, that's ours. And anyway, Kevin lights up this lighter, puts it to the Confederate flag, and it won't burn. McKinley Lieber says, Kevin, next time do not bring a nylon flag, or bring some lighter fluid. Kevin made his mark. There are two things that I read in reading things around the country from people that Kevin was a name dropper. I knew the names, but I had no idea whether he really knew them or not. And this fellow who's the editor of Counterpunch, and Counterpunch, if you're a lefty, Counterpunch is a really significant national publication that Kevin was frequently printed in. And Jeffrey St. Clair said, Kevin had a seductive voice. The softer he spoke, and the more powerful and commanding it sounded. He had a gift for mimicry. There was a reservoir for all sorts of quirky knowledge. He had an encyclopedic memory for the lyrics of TV show tunes, which he put on full display the last time we were together in the Bay Area, snarled in Oakland traffic for 2 hours as we inched across the bridge. And that reminds me of two things. One, Kevin's encyclopedic memory about TV lyrics. And one of them that has surfaced just recently was one about how after you pass, this is something that Kevin would call up our mutual friend Wendy and wake her up and start singing this song. And it's a gospel tune with some unique quality. But it was about after you die, you don't need these things because you're going to live on the grace of God. And the song was called No More Breakfast. And Kevin would call this woman and he would wake her up in the morning And he would sing, "No more breakfast," because you don't need it. And he'd go on about no more bacon, no more waffles, no more this, that, and the other. And that's something that I want to think about. Kevin don't need no more of the anguish and the pain and the fighting and the ugliness on this planet. Kevin paid his dues. The other thing that this guy said about Kevin's seductive voice, I was speaking at a rally, I occasionally do that, and Kevin came up to me after and said, "Brother, you need to not get excited when you're talking. You lose the gravitas if you get too loud." Oh, okay. Well, I never got that. But the last thing I want to say before Brother Glenn starts praying over there on me is that Kevin and I both were big supporters of the liberation struggles in Central America that were direct results of really bad foreign policy and the military that he served. And I know that he was in Nicaragua and I was in El Salvador. And one of the things they do there when they lose somebody, they would say something like, "Viva Kevin," and the audience would go, "Que viva, viva Kevin, que viva," and I would go, "Viva Kevin, que viva, viva Kevin, que viva, viva Kevin, que viva."